Today for the mobility video, we're going to start talking a little bit about hamstring length. A common thing that people talk about is the butt wink, which is when you're at the bottom of your squat and your pelvis tilts under. And a lot of people say that that's because you have really tight hamstrings. So I want to talk a little bit about how I really don't think that your hamstring length is affecting you in the squat, and I want to give you the reason why. So Sarah's going to be my model for the squat. If you look at the hamstring, you have three. You have two on the insides of your legs and one on the outside. So two medial hamstrings, one lateral hamstring. And the hamstring attaches on your butt bones, on your sitting bones, and cross over the knee. So they serve two functions. They do hip flexion, which is you bending forward, and knee extension, which is straightening out your knees. So in order to stretch your hamstring, you have to do you have to do both of those things. You have to flex at the hip and keep the knees extended. But when you squat, you are flexing at the hip, but you're also flexing at the knee. So you're stretching the hamstring where it originates, but you're slackening where it inserts. So if you think about the hamstring length as you go through a squat, it really doesn't change in length. This is not true for the deadlift. So for the deadlift, you are flexing at the hip and you do have a slight bend to the knee, but your proportions are different. So if you have really tight hamstrings, when you're going into a deadlift type of position, you can have tightness through the hamstrings that can limit your ability to reach for the bar with a good lumbar position. So if this is your case, what we're going to do is some releases through the hamstring. People tend to use the foam rollers and kind of lie down on the ground and roll over. I don't really find that this gets the hamstring very well. And a hamstring release that I like a little bit better is using a lacrosse ball and going towards the box. So Sarah's going to come here, she's going to have a seat, and she's going to bring the lacrosse ball underneath her thigh. So she's going to place pressure down. She can either use her hand to press down through. What this does is it gives a little bit more of a point pressure in towards the hamstring, and then she's going to straighten her knee, and that's going to have that tack down movement as well as the glide. So she's just going to come through range. Good. And like all of the releases that we do so far, you're going to start at one end of the muscle and go towards the other end. So you're going to try and go, from starting at the knee, you're going to press down and you're going to go through. Because this is a bigger muscle group, you have to make sure that you're not just going up and down one side. You want to make sure that you hit both the lateral hamstrings and the medial hamstrings when you're doing this release. So to kind of summarize, change of length of the hamstring in the squat actually doesn't change. So it's more of an isometric stabilizer. What that means is it doesn't change length. And in the deadlift, you can have some tightness that's limiting your ability to get into the bottom of the squat, or bottom of the deadlift, sorry. So here's the release.